1. Happy Friday, everyone. Woo! I'm so excited that you're here. Welcome to Ed Talk TV, Conversations Worth Having. I'm your host, Ed, and it is a beautiful Friday. Not to mention, tech is working with us today, which I'm so excited about. Feel free to pop into the comments, say hello, tell me why you're here. I want to know your why. Why are you here? I know I have a lot of followers that will catch the replay, and that's okay. I talk to all live and replay viewers, so you'll hear that throughout the time. Let me also know if this is your first time tuning in. Even if you're watching the replay, I want to know because it's important. And now here's the thing. When you come over here viewing from it, oh yeah, look at, I'm going to put Erica on blast right now. So Erica is one of our live viewers, always shows up even if she's late. And she just got a brand new computer from what, Erica, I think a 2008 you had? Like, you guys, I don't even know. Like 2008, it sounds crazy, but it was still functioning, and I know you were using your mobile for a lot of things. So I'm so excited, and I'm glad that you shared that with all of us. So thank you so much. Real quick, if you're new around here, be sure to share and tell us in the comments. Show some emotions, not just the like. We go past the like. And be sure, hey Vicky, and be sure to let people know who you are, what you do, where you're tuning in from, all that good stuff, because we're a really close community over here, and we like to work together, and we learn from each other. You know, you're tuning in for Ed Talk TV, but it's not just about me, it's about you. It's about all of us tuning in. Hey Paula, so you really want to make sure that you utilize this opportunity. Like, that's what we teach. We talk about business, tech, and the user experience here on the show. And I say it's a show because it's a talk show. Some days you'll get just me. Some days you'll get guests. Today we have a guest. We're going to have Jess back. If you tuned in yesterday was a hot mess, but that's okay. We're going to make it up today. We're already up and running, so we're good. Now, here are a couple things, just so you know. Be sure to engage, not only with me, but the audience. I'm just taking a look at the computer right now. So we're going to talk about a couple Facebook features that I've noticed, and then we're going to jump in and bring our guest on, Jess, hello, and let us know there. See, when you tune in live, I get to put your comments on blast. I get to put them on the screen. So I'm really excited. You can see in my story later about the whole setup I have here. I'm so excited to see this on a big screen. I will tell you, here's a tip, okay? We're going to just jump right in. Here is a tip. Vicky, you don't even want to know what happened yesterday. You be glad that you were able to sleep. No, it turned out to be okay. We had some glitches yesterday. There was some time stuff and life happened, but you know, we still showed up and we still made the most of the time we had. But here's a tip right now. First, right out of the gate, here is a big tip. Well, before I get to that, actually, I should tell you, there's a pinned comment that has information about the show, so you can request to become a guest if you'd like to be here on the live show with me. Also, information about other things there, so you can check out that pinned comment there. But the tip, I will tell you that if you are trying to do a broadcast like this and have your own show, you don't need a ton of fancy equipment, okay? And you can find out more in my Facebook Live training that I have available. But what I want to tell you is this one tip. Are you listening? Are you ready? You need, or you should have, an external monitor. I will tell you, that makes a world of difference when you get to this level. Like, don't be like, oh, Ed told me I have to go buy a monitor, so I need to go get a monitor / external monitor because I can only go live with this equipment. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying, though, is it does make life a lot easier if you have a laptop that you work from and you want to go live using this whole setup like I have here. I will tell you, it makes life so much easier having two screens to look at and to work with that are all part of the same thing. I don't mean having the phone nearby. I mean actually on your computer. So we're working with two screens today. It makes life so much easier. So welcome those joining. Remember to jump into the conversation with everyone and be sure to share out. Now, Facebook features. This is interesting. So actually, I'm going to pull it up on my phone. So the first one we noticed yesterday was on my phone when we went live yesterday. So it does, okay, you guys, are you paying attention? So this is new. I don't know. You tell me, replay viewers, you tell me as well in the comments. Have you seen this happen anywhere else? And I'm going to show it to you here in just a second. But I want you to know, to let me know if you've seen this anywhere else. On my phone right now, I have an iPhone Plus. On my business page, let me refresh this because that's a really weird picture of me right now. Okay, let me get off of there. Okay, so the screenshot is really bad here, so you better be laughing at this one. But on my business page, if you were to view it from the mobile right now, it's showing my live broadcast. Normally, what shows up here, I'm going to show you because it's on desktop, it's not doing that. So watch this. I'm going to share my screen. Check this out. This right here is my welcome video, you guys, at the top of my page. So on desktop right now, this is still there. But when you are on mobile, at least on iPhone, this is what's popping up. This means that they are testing, at least I can only assume, they are testing to see if the mobile experience is better from having your live broadcast show up at the top to replace that. I don't know about you, but I think that's awesome. It's going to be so much quicker and easier to get on people's live broadcasts than it is to scroll through the Facebook page. So Facebook wants more mobile. That's exactly, Jane, exactly. They want more mobile. Yeah, great shot, right, Chrissy? And your phone was like that too. Okay, perfect. So keep an eye out for that. Like I said, I haven't seen it anywhere else. I tagged Marie Smith to see if she's seen that because she's big on Facebook and all their changes. I haven't heard an update yet, but we'll see. It's pretty cool and exciting, especially because it happened yesterday with all this chaos. But that is a cool feature. That is good for the user experience, big time, especially on mobile. So perfect. So that's one. Now, here's another one. Have you guys heard that Facebook is rolling out this other feature? I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so you can see it. Give me 1 second there. Whoops. You got to be on the right tab when you're on a desktop. Okay, so check this out. How many of you, even if you're watching the replay, how many of you have heard or seen this new feature? Maybe you have it already. Facebook is now bringing out, I don't have this yet, but Facebook is now bringing out a list option. So when you go to post something, I'll just go back here. So instead of one of these options, for your posts, they'll actually have an option that says list. Well, let me see. No, that's just note. But on your profiles, they'll have a spot where you can actually create a list. Now, what does that mean? That means you could put your shopping list, your top 5 food cravings like they have here. It can be any of that stuff. Now, let me ask you, let me ask you both live and replay viewers, do you have this option yet? And you can check it later. Don't pause right now, but check it later. And 2, Jane's already answering. I love it, Jane. Great idea. So 2, I want to know, would you use this feature? Would you? Yes, Jane. Okay. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Let's be honest. Why do we have this new feature coming out? Why do we really want to share our list of things that we want to do, need to do, are dreaming of? They're trying to be like Evernote. Yeah, it's a little weird, Jess. So Jane nailed it. Collecting data. You guys, we have to remember that this is rented space. Facebook is rented space. We don't own Facebook. We can't control it. At any point in time, they could shut us down. So our show is no longer live on Facebook, which is why you should be on my email list. Because if something happens, then I can notify you directly through an email and say, hey, FYI, we're over here doing this, or I had figured out something else, like things like that. And I'd say that for my show, but I want you to apply that for whatever it is you're doing too. Like make sure that you're not just building on one platform, that you're also making sure you have connections with people elsewhere too. And yes, how would you use that for your page? So here's the thing. When it comes to this new list feature, I want to mention the fact that, one, like Jane said, it's collecting data. Let's just put it out there. Facebook's going to collect the data from what you put on that list. It's going to help them determine XYZ. They're going to be able to share it with XYZ, and the list goes on. I mean, that's what this whole game is about. Hence why it's a free service, right? It's free. We don't pay any money for this, but we pay in another form. In that case, our data. So I think that it's a great option if I wanted to share my done list, meaning, oh, I did XYZ today because I like bullet point formats, right? Like, hello, who else loves that, right? If you're watching the replay, how many of you love to see things in a bullet list format? It doesn't matter if it's your to-do list, if it's your done list, whatever. Like, give me bullet points so I can be like, check, check, check. So you have to understand that that could be cool, but at the same time, I don't really need to be seeing everyone's list. Like, no offense, but cool. Like, that's awesome. But chances are I don't want to see your list. And chances are you don't want to share that much information, right? Because we're already sharing a ton of info online. I don't know. You guys can tell me, and everyone's going to be different, and every individual post is going to be different. So like I could say, no, I don't like the list feature. I'm not going to use it. And then in a few weeks, you see me use the list feature for something fun or to demonstrate, right? Like there are those individual case by case basis. And who knows, it might get real interesting depending on where they go with it. But it's really one of those things like I feel like there could be better features that we could add, like stepping up our streaming game and things like that, because that's our big picture, right? Don't get stuck with this shiny object syndrome, because that's to me, that's what it is. It's like, well, how many extra thingies do we need to have to make a decision on what we want to post? Like less is more, right? It's just like anytime you're building your business, you have all these great ideas. Woo! We all do, right? Put your emoji hand up. Let me know, even if you're watching the replay. But at the end of the day, what's your core topic? What are you working towards? That's exactly what I had. I had a mini mastermind meeting today with a small group that I'm working with, and that's exactly what we talked about. Now, it's easier for me to say it than to do it, right? That's how it always is. But that's exactly where I was listening, and then I said, yes, like, okay, great. Now, you said all of that, and there's a lot going on, and there's multiple businesses, but if you had to prioritize it, what's number one priority? 2, 3, 4. Like, hopefully you have 3, but you know how the list can go. And then by ordering it that way, then it was like, okay, cool. That's what you need to work on. That's what you need to check off. So keep that in mind. And, again, I think it just comes down to the data, what they're trying to do with that list part. But I can appreciate the bullet point format. So we'll go with that. So let me go ahead and plug in. Let me call our guest, and then we're going to jump into today's content. We will also talk about my can opener video, because we didn't get to that yesterday, and that is what's going to talk about, lead into what we're talking about today. So let me go ahead and get Jess on the line here. I'm going to switch over. We're going to do this. Boom. I love the little ding, ding. We don't need all 3 of me. So let me just go to this camera, I think. Yep. And then we're going to go here. There we go. Boom. See, sometimes you got to do like the check to make sure. I was about to say, if Jess doesn't pick up this call, I don't know what she's doing.
Hi.
There you go. I was like, okay, you guys, we had been testing, by the way, lighting and working on things. And so as she's making us wait, I'm thinking, if she doesn't answer this call, what did we do all that for?
No, so I actually have a second monitor, and I could not find where the answer the phone was coming in, and so I had to look on the second screen to find it. I was panicking. I'm like, I'm coming. Hang on.
Love it. Go ahead and introduce yourself just so that way people know, because it's a new day and we have new viewers. So
Yes. So, yeah, if we've never met before, my name is Jess of JessHoffman.tv. A little bit of background. I'm married to my awesome husband, Kyle, for almost 5 years. We have no kids, no dogs. But besides that, for my business, I am an organizational trainer and a process engineer. So basically what that means is whether you're an individual or a entrepreneur or a business owner, I come in and help you streamline your current processes to increase your productivity. And then, of course, you get to increase your growth and goals and do it with ease. So, less stress with Jess is how we do it. So, can you guys hear me okay?
yes, I can hear you, and hopefully everyone else can. Go ahead. I put you on full screen for a second because I'm going to move this blind a little bit so that way I'm not washed out.
Perfect. Perfect. So, yeah, and I'm just really excited. If you were here yesterday,
And so you
we
guys
had
tuning
some,
in, make sure to let Jess know who you are and what you're up to these days.
yeah, that'd be great. And
Perfect.
really, really glad you came back from yesterday because that was just a hoot. So,
Perfect.
today we are back for more.
Yes, we are. So perfect. Awesome. Yes. Okay, cool. Everyone's tuning in. They're loving it. Perfect. You guys are talking about it and sharing and loving. I love it. Okay, so before we jump into what you're going to talk about, I am going to pop over to my other screen here. And actually, yeah, I'm going to pop over to my other screen because that's just going to work better. We're gonna just make tech work. So, you guys, this video here is one, and I'll play a short version of it. But let me just say a little backstory to it. Is that this video was something that I decided, you know what? Instead of asking a simple text question in the post, I wanted to go live. I wanted to be vulnerable and just say, whatever. I'm just going to do it and see what happens and ask. Because I was having kitchen struggles. I'm not going to lie. I am not in my normal location. And so I was trying to figure out how to open up a can of beans, which I know sounds so silly, so dumb, right? But there's no such thing as dumb questions. And I'm just going to go ahead and play a little portion of this video so you can see, because I want you to see thanks Susan for liking my video. I want you to see the raw state and know that it's okay. Like, people are okay with that and they want to see that. Whoops. Of course it stops and goes. Here we go.
Oh, it's really quiet.
Oh, that is not the right one. Oh my goodness. Okay, so as you can see, when you try to stream at the same time, it can get a little crazy. So anyway, we will not waste time on that because I want to make sure that we get to that. But I will see if I can get the other video queued up for that. So really what you want to look at is you want to make sure that you utilize the opportunity you have to get in front of your audience, whether it's your target audience or just on your personal profile like I did that day. You want to make sure that you just be you and that you go through those motions and really understand that it's okay to just be you. And it takes a while to get comfortable with it. I will tell you from my personal experience, it has taken me a long time to get comfortable to where I'm at right now. But here we go. I got it queued up for us. So give me just a second. And if this doesn't work, then oh well. But it should. All right. So you guys should be able to see that. And then here we go.
It's hard to hear.
This can of black beans. I have count them, two can openers. 1, 2. I have never seen these can openers before. I have no idea how the crap you use them. You show you. Maybe some of you tuning in can share with me like how this works. I can only assume, based off that these go on top of the can, which I'll show you in a second. But there's no sharp edges. There's like nothing to like cut the can open. I don't know how to use this. So I found this one and I pushed it to the... Okay, so that's the gist of the video. And so I want you, oops, I'll go over here to the other screen. So I want you to understand that I went live just because I've been going live so often with this show, and I've become more comfortable. I've been able to get more comfortable with going live here on the page, which has translated over to my personal life, which has allowed me to do goofy things like that, which actually, like yesterday's quote, there is, I forget exactly the exact quote, somebody can look it up later, but there is no such thing as a bad Facebook Live. Mm-hmm. And that's an example of it's not. And just because I know some of you are probably so curious and wondering if I was starving to death, 2 days later, I did get the can open. No sharp edges. I did use the new one. It's great to understand and use now. There you have it. So, Jess, why did we talk all about that, and why are you here? Like, let's dive into that.
Right on. So we're here for a couple of different reasons today, actually. First, we got to finish this can opener conversation. But what happened is, initially, Ed had given me a call, and I wasn't able to answer. And I said, hey, man, sorry I missed your call. He said, that's all right. I just did a Facebook Live on it. And I watched this Facebook Live. This is a quick update quick recap from yesterday's very, very fast explanation. And when I watched that video, I laughed hysterically. Not that he couldn't do it, but it was like the most raw version of Ed, and I just loved it. So a little bit of background between Ed and I in our relationship. We do a lot of business together. We do a lot of testing together, things like that. So we are on the phone very often. We're on Zoom or some sort of video chat multiple times a week probably. And I see that version of Ed, and then there's, a little bit more polished version of Ed when we're hosting TV shows and things like that. But when he got on there, I was like, yes! I'm like, this is you. So then the next day we break out into this conversation around this can opener. And I'm like, seriously, I know another brand that's fancy, and they use this can opener, and I hate it. I said, I'm glad I wasn't able to answer you because I didn't know how to help you. Like, I would have had no explanation as to how to do this. I've had to YouTube it myself. And then we just kind of busted out into this really good conversation around, like, are people beta testing? Are we even doing the appropriate testing for any product that we're creating, or for any course? If you're in the course arena, are you doing beta testing? And so we were mid-sentence, and I was like, hold on, like, we gotta just bring this to life because we think it's such an important conversation. If you feel called to create something, you are responsible to give it to the world in a really good form. And if you don't know if it's a good form, then you need to be responsible and do beta testing beforehand. Ed is so into a positive end user experience, and from my process engineering side of things, I'm a freak about things being orderly for your customer. And so it's just really important. So we wanted to just ask you, are you doing beta testing for your products? Or why? If not, why? We came up with this theory of, are people not doing it because they aren't confident enough in what they're creating? And if they try to present it in a raw state, the critique would just shut them down? Or are they just being lazy? Or did they not think about beta testing? Or did they beta test it and we just don't know how to use it? So.
Yeah, and I'm going to break that down for a second. Two things real quick. One, Jess, you don't have to make any changes, but I'm curious if your camera is able to switch. Your camera's fine, but I'm curious if because Skype switched your camera, because don't you have two cameras? Or do you just have one?
Yeah, and I don't. Is it fuzzy for you?
No, it's fine. It's just not as nice lighting as we saw earlier, like before we started. So I was going to fix that, but I don't want you to mess anything up. So it's okay.
Is that better?
That's better, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
So I have a webcam, and then I have the camera on my Mac. And so everything else is hooked up to the webcam, but my, whatever I'm on, Skype, is coming in through the Mac.
Which is why we're seeing the color difference. So you guys, the reason I wanted to bring that to attention was because I want you to understand that when you use different programs and you have different attachments, the programs will switch. Because I've noticed on a couple guests, when they go live with Skype uses their normal camera versus their nice lit camera, which is why when we did testing before this, it automatically switched over to this one. So I wanted to share with you guys a little behind the scenes about what happened there, and especially because we were talking about lighting, and Jess did have really good lighting, but it's because the Skype program switched it. So it's okay. You don't have to worry about that. I just wanted to share that with everyone so that you guys know it happens to all of us, even if you test. Now, the question came up was, what is beta testing? Which is a great question, right? Like, what is beta testing? So, Jess, do you want to jump first on that?
Yes, I will sure do my best. Sorry about that camera, everyone. We'll have to talk afterwards, Ed, and you can help me get it set up.
Yeah, no, you're good.
So, beta testing is basically if you are getting ready to launch a product, it's when or a course you bring it to a smaller group of people first. It's like a test subject group. And basically, it's a really great opportunity for you as the creator to say to people, hey, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm creating. Here's a new course. Let's say a course on coloring. I don't know. We'll just make something up. But I'm not really sure if the people I want to sell it to, further down the line, if it makes sense, if there's any chunks that are missing, if there's anything you would like to know more in depth before I take it to the public. And it's usually at a reduced rate so that it's because you're still like going to bulk it up a little bit more. And it just isn't fully refined all the way. So it's a really great place for you to go and have your creation be refined.
Yep.
And then have a group of people really full of grace because they know it's not going to be perfect. So, so if you have a better definition, go ahead. But
no,
that's how
that was great. And I know Mickey and Jasmine jumped in there too, and Chrissy just realized that she's doing beta testing and didn't know that it was beta testing. So it's awesome. And that really is great. And I'm glad that you asked that question. For those who are tuning in, who are watching the replay, that are not sure if they should ask questions like that, whether it's on this show or any other show, like understand you don't know you don't know what you don't know. And so ask the question if it comes up. There are no dumb questions. And you can see that our community here is going to be respectful of you and your question. And they're going to give you the best possible answer or point you in the right direction. So just know that. And I want you to feel comfortable about that because that's what this talk show's about. And that's really how, once you start getting comfortable with that, like stepping it up to the next level, again, we use simple examples of like you show up here. Perfect. That's a huge step. Next thing, you might show some emojis, some emotions, or comment, or share. That's another thing, right? And then you go up the ladder there. And the next thing you know it, you're going to be a guest on here going live, which right now you might be so freaked out about. But when you actually go through those steps, you get more comfortable with it. And then you're like, let's do it, Ed. Like, how do I get on your show? Like, get me on your show. So you just head over to edtalktv.com and fill out the guest request. Boom. Then we get you set up with a date. I mean, that's how it goes. That's how it worked with Jess. And, talking about how today happened is when we were doing this yesterday, I'm sitting down and I literally was eating breakfast with the phone with Jess here. And I'm like, you know what? We need to have a live on this. This is a great topic for the show. What are you doing on Friday? Can I have you on as a guest on the show? And so we can talk about this. Checked her schedule. Boom. Scheduled it. Done. Like, that's how we got here.
Yep. And I just want to add to that too, because we talked about this, Ed and I had a call earlier today as well. Like, just so you know, I literally talk to Ed, like I said, multiple times a week, face to face, and I'm like chugging water because it's a nervous habit, and my palms are sweaty and all those things and I'm an extrovert, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes you just have to be bold and trust yourself and just show up and do it, because it's good to stretch yourself. And like Ed said, it's a super safe community. You believe me, you can never ask a dumb question to Ed. He will always honor it and be respectful and help you get an answer. And it's just it's a great community to be a part of. So kudos to Ed for creating a safe space for people to come, especially because tech is so difficult, and just letting people be who they are, right as they are.
Thank you. Yeah, and so Erica says absolutely love it. Boom, mic drop. So let's dive into why you're here, a little bit more of why you're here, and what you're doing, because now you're stepping up your game. Like you guys. Like we've told you, we've known each other for a while now. We've been following and hanging out and, doing all of this behind the scenes work. We've been not just having voice conversations on Messenger, but doing actual video broadcasts. Therefore, we're getting comfortable with each other, and we're getting comfortable with being on camera and holding our phone or having the computer in front of us. So you have to think all those little steps lead to the bigger picture eventually. And that's why I brought Jess on here, is to share with you what she's doing, because she's grown a lot in the last, I want to say, couple weeks, mostly because it's just expanded. So I'm going to let you let people know.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks. So, again, if you have any questions about anything we talked about with the beta or anything like that, feel free to comment. We can help you with that. But, yes, this is drastically, or I shouldn't say drastically. You'll notice we're kind of going to have a little bit of shift in conversation here, but it's okay. We were merging yesterday and today into one. But, I am, man, this is so exciting, you guys. I don't even know where to start because I'm like geeking out. So I'm just going to pretend I'm doing my own Facebook Live, and I'm going to explain what has happened over the last couple of weeks. So, I have been January 9th, I'm going to back up. January 9th, I was going to dinner with a girlfriend of mine, and I absolutely fell off a step outside and really wrecked my ankle. Like, big sprain, wasn't able to walk, and really wasn't able to sit at a desk for a while because it was just pretty intense. And so I had spent a lot of time up in my bed, really thinking about what I want to represent, what I want to do, and what I want to bring to the world. And so I've had a few weeks of, just doing a lot of journaling, spending a lot of time with myself, and just pressing through and doing the hard work. Because sometimes we come upon challenges like lighting, right? This is not something I would prefer to have to learn to do, but you have to press in and you have to learn how to do it. So I just was like, well, I'm stuck in bed. I might as well think about all this hard stuff I don't want to do. And it led me to a point just last week actually, where, all right, time out. Y'all need to understand I'm super transparent. So if you're uncomfortable, I'm really sorry, but this is my story. So I'm just going to tell it as it is, which is the point of what I'm going to tell you anyway. But I regularly see a psychologist. I absolutely love her. And I was in a session with her last Thursday, and I was just really frustrated with myself. And she said, "What's going on?" And I just explained to her, I said, "Here's the thing. I am stuck. I know I'm awesome. I know I deserve more. I know that I deserve to just kick butt in my business, but I always get stuck." And she said, "Why do you think that is?" I said, "I don't know," right? Avoiding the hard. But any good psychologist is going to ask you the questions because you know the answer within yourself. You always will know the answer. And so I was like, I know that I know the answer. I just don't want to think about it. So she asked me questions, of course, and it came out, and I said, the truth is, it's because I don't think I'm worth it. And she was just like, where do you think that came from? And I said, because I'll openly talk about my goals here and there, and then I'll say, I want to make $100,000 this year, and people will say, well, what about 50, let's be real here. And I realized that Now, I'm not saying don't be logical, right? There is great wisdom in being smart with what you need in life, but I had become addicted to paying more attention to how what I wanted made people feel uncomfortable, rather than paying attention to how soul crushing it was to not be running after what I wanted in life. And so I'm walking out of therapy. I'm limping to my car, right? Limping to my car, and all of a sudden I get this. I believe in Jesus, so I know it was God saying, this is what you need to do. And all of a sudden, I was just like, whoa, I am. And it was this whole revelation that just came flooding into my head, and everything that I did the last month, everything I've been trying to do the last few years, just kind of like came crashing into each other. It just all started to click and make sense based on this one conversation. But if I wouldn't have pushed in and done the hard work and made myself figure out why, I wouldn't be having this conversation today. And basically what it was is I decided, that's it. I'm over it. I don't care if my dreams make you uncomfortable anymore. I don't care if how did I say this yesterday when I was talking to a girlfriend? And I wasn't saying this to her, it was just like a moment. But if what I do doesn't pacify you, and you're not pacifying, and you're not feeding my passive income, then I don't care. If you're uncomfortable by what I want to achieve, I can't let you stop me anymore. And I just decided, that's it. I know so many women, and Ed and I have talked about this as well, and men, that just need to know, I am worthy, I am able, I am enough, I can, I will, I am strong. And there it was. And I just immediately had this whole idea for a campaign of the hashtag I am revelation. And what that means, a revelation is when all of a sudden your eyes see something that was in front of you the whole time. And I am here to encourage you, when you step into the truest revelation of who you are, it will literally cause a revolution of hope in you, and it will change your world. And I was like I get home from my therapy session, and I'm like, I don't even know how my lighting's going to be. I don't care. And I just told the world. And it's the point of it is, I went on that Facebook Live, and I was like Ed with his can opener. I was it's one of the realest videos of me you would ever see. And here's the point of it all. And I know Ed will have feedback on this too. I had over 1,200 views. I had over 844 minutes of watch time. I had over 80 comments. I had over so many different things, so many different statistics. And I've never had that kind of traction on a Facebook Live ever. Yeah. But I got there, and I showed up as the realest version of me, and I've done it every day since, and people notice. And people want more, because people do not want a fake version. Ed is so about relationship building and people knowing you and liking you and trusting you. And if you aren't you, people are going to notice, and it's a little bit weird and creepy. Yeah. So it's just like, I know I'm rambling, guys, but you can tell that this is something I'm passionate about, and it draws people in. When you are you, people want that. They don't want just trying to be like Ed. They don't want that. Believe me, you don't want me to think I know anything about tech. People want the realest version of you. So that's how you need to start showing up.
Yeah. And it's true, and replay viewers, please jump into the conversation too. Don't just watch passively, like watch and engage, because we're all still going to be hanging out with you, even if it's not live. I just want to say, Erica says, love that. I always say, quote, if you don't support or are not encouraged by what I do, that's fine. Please go find someone who speaks to you. Life is too short to do anything else less. I love that. And you guys, it takes time, right? For some of us, you guys who have been following me for a long time know I'm a shy guy. I know that's hard to believe. I'm not even kidding. I'm a shy guy. I do all of this, no problem, after, some dry runs and, getting in the groove. And I look forward to this every day, but I'm still a shy guy. Like, especially if I was to go to like hang out, if I go downtown and like walk around, like I don't walk around by myself. I don't just go hang because I could be at home working. Like, like that's just not me. And so I have to get a little more comfortable with that uncomfortableness for me. But, that's the thing is like the more you can grow wherever you're at. So if you're like me going online, you can grow a little bit faster if you go online by doing Facebook Lives and just putting yourself out there. Awesome. Because that's going to grow and transition over to your personal life. That's going to start flowing into there, right? Like you're going to see changes like I've seen in Jess. And even though we're not right in the same area, I can still see the changes like immediately. And it's just because she's putting her true self out there. And that motivates and inspires me as a viewer to say, yeah, I can do that. Like how many of you are now inspired? You may not go out and do this. So let me back up. You may not go out and do a live right off the bat, but how many of you, even watching the replay, how many of you feel inspired by what she just said that you were like, I got this. Like, what? Like, let's do this, like before you wouldn't catch me doing that in a Facebook Live. You wouldn't catch me posting that goofy dancing in the stories. I like to dance though. And usually that doesn't happen, but now I've become more comfortable where I can just post that wherever, well, I don't post it wherever, but you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
I have lots of videos of Ed dancing and it's okay.
Yeah, here's the thing, you guys, and the reason I bring that part up is because I realize that people get a laugh out of that, right? Like it makes people feel good. And it for a while there, I'm going to be real open and honest with you right now. For a long time, I didn't think that laughter was a good thing in the sense that I thought people were laughing at me and making fun of me from things when I was a kid, right? So that plays a part in my shyness, and that plays a huge part in why if we're hanging out person to person in real life, like we're going to joke, we're going to have a good time, and, I'll be busting a move here and there, and whatever. But publicly, it was like, no, I have to be very professional. I don't want people laughing because I don't know if they're laughing at me or with me or what. Now I'm like, this stuff is funny. Like I'm even laughing, and people need this. People need now more than ever something to make them laugh. And so that's my job is, I'm not going to become a comedian, but my job is to put it out there and share.
And I completely agree with you. And I think that's something that I'm most excited about with this campaign, with this movement, is something you said. It's so powerful that the only point of the whole thing is that it is rooted in hope. It is rooted in positivity. It is rooted in embracing that awesomeness. There is so much happening in this world, and who doesn't want to tune in to a Facebook Live and just hear, you're freaking great? I mean, honestly, who doesn't need to hear that they're worth being alive? They are worth laughing, like having joy. They are worthy of those things. They are lovable. They are smart. It's just rooted in goodness. And that is something I've been wanting to bring to the world for so long. Now with that, I will absolutely back up what you said, Ed, that you need to understand, like I said, I was severely depressed and I was one symptom away from PTSD. That diagnosis came almost 5 years ago. I was healed from it a couple of years ago, but it has taken a lot of work to get to this point. It has taken a lot of changing my mindset, setting up triggers to create habits, and, changing the way that I think about myself and learning to embrace that. So absolutely, if y'all want to go and do Facebook Lives, I will be your first fan. I will watch you do this. But even if it's just looking in the mirror and saying, I'm beautiful, I am worth it. That's huge. That's where I started. And it took work, but it's worth it. It's the hard stuff, but it's worth it.
It's true. And, we know, and if we don't know, we know now that mindset is a huge part of it. And, I will say that even, I got this great book. Shout out to my friend Donna, who bought this book for me for Christmas. You're a Badass at Making Money, because she saw that I had watched or read the first book, and I actually didn't even know anything about You're a Badass at Making Money. And so she surprised me with it, and I was like, this is awesome. This is super cool. And hey, Ben, welcome. And so I had to put him on the screen there. There you go. So, it's one of those things that for me, reading one of those books, because I like to read books now. As a kid, I didn't. Now I do, because it's all business, and I like to read various books, right? Like not just how to start a business, but I branch out to have things like the design of everyday things. Like some of you saw this on my personal one, and this book, I haven't fully read it yet, but just looking at it, it's from 1988, you guys. Now be honest, even if you're watching the replay, how many of you would pick up a book from 1988 and actually use it as part of your market research? Yes or no? Be honest in the comments. I'm not gonna judge. I'm just saying there is something to be said about branching out and seeing what's both specifically impacting your industry and what is going around the area, right? Because I work with user experience. That relates to design. Like Jess knows, I feel like a complainer sometimes, because I go through and I'm like, why is it this way? Why didn't they do that? Why would I cut my can sideways and not let it lift up? There's all these different things. And perfect. I'm glad you guys are being honest. Thank you. Some people are saying yes, some people are saying no, and it just depends. So getting back to the book that I was actually talking about was the Badass at Making Money, which ties into what Jess said about mindset. So this is like the first real book. I'll tell you, it's the first real book that I actually read and implemented the strategies that it talks about, because there's a lot about money that I have to personally get over, because I didn't grow up with money. I grew up with a hardworking family that made sure to put food on the table and that lived paycheck to paycheck. And I also have that, obviously you guys can probably tell, that hard work driven, we're going to work. And it's not about the money. It's because I love what I do, and I love being able to have this freedom to work from home, to work with you guys, and do all of these various things to keep me busy. But the money mindset I had to break, and that book really helped me understand that there is more than what I'm thinking. I have to tell myself there's more. I have to talk to myself every day, look at myself in the mirror, tell myself multiple times throughout the day, even sometimes, you're a badass at making money, and you're going to make money today. And that's not to be cocky, and that's not to say oh, I'm all about making millions of dollars and I don't care about anybody. No, that's just getting me in that mindset that what I do has value, and I'm going to make an impact. And even the free content, like the show here, my blog post, whatever, that free content over time delivers so much value that at some point when you're ready to do XYZ, you know who to go to, and you know what to do for the next level, right? We're investing we're building a relationship that invests in the long run. We're not here for the quick money. We're here for the long run. And that's why, you have to change your mindset around things like that.
I totally agree. And I think for me, same thing. And I had really bad, I had identity theft on my college loans, actually. Like,
Wow.
super student loan. Yeah, and it's still a mess, and it's dirty, and it's gross. And it's really affected the way that I have viewed my worth. And I think that's the biggest thing you'll notice is sometimes we have to understand first that who you are as a person is enough as it is. Your worth isn't in the number of people that are liking you or commenting or following or paying you. Although those are good things if you're growing a business, but that's not who Ed is. That's not who Jess is. That's not who any of our viewers are, right? They are that person that they know I am, blah, 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 whatever that might be. And so for me, that's something I'm constantly working on too. And one of the things I declared on last Thursday on that live when I got home was, I am a 6-figure earner. Yeah. I am. And that's something I need to repeat. You can see in the background here, I've got my vision board. I've got my I am statements right here. I have something called a life redefined sentence where I read what I want for my life. Not what it is, but what it will be. And I have to look at them because I have to remind myself exactly like you're saying. It is something you consciously have to do every day and multiple times a day sometimes. And so, I just get out there and I'm like, I'm a 6-figure earner, and I'm not boasting and I'm not being arrogant. I am proclaiming what I am because, and you probably feel the same way too, Ed. When I get to those goals, then I can really, really, really live out the conviction that's on my heart.
Yeah.
The money is to supplement the heartbeat. It is not to just satisfy, the stuff that I maybe want to purchase. It's so I can really live out my purpose.
Right.
And so that's why it's like, yeah, I'm a 6-figure earner. Does that make you uncomfortable? That's cool. It's not your paycheck. It's what I need. I'm not going to keep going broke just because, you don't like what my goal is for my life. That's silliness. So, yeah, it is the most empowering feeling in the world. And you probably feel the way now about money too. Like, just proclaim it.
Yeah. And it really does make that huge, huge change, that shift, because you guys, like my first business doing the magazine, I told you I'm going to be open and honest with this one. My first business, it cost me pretty much $20,000 for a 2-year print magazine. Let me reiterate that. I did print and digital with hiring a designer and distributor and all this stuff. I was still in college and I was paying all of that, and I paid it off in 2 years because I don't like having bills like that. But the point is that was like the most debt that I had ever been in, and it freaked me out. Because when I hear numbers of people, I know there's some people out there that have lots of school debt, lots of other debt, and it's like, to me, I'm like, how would you ever get out of that debt? Because it's just I think anything over 20,000 is really hard to get down, to be honest. And I know, a lot of you guys are probably replay viewers, live viewers. You guys are probably like, oh, Ed doesn't want to know my debt. And it's like, and I'm not saying you have to say anything, but I'm just saying, like, you have to understand that is something that, I forgot where I was going. Oh, money. So that is something that you have to understand. Like, that was the most expense that I knew of. And so for me, that was a lot. And I mean, it's a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. But like, when you think about, oh, well, I want to make 20,000, this year, or which obviously we want to make more than that. But you know what I'm saying? Like, the number is hard to get to understand until you tell yourself about it and you explain what it is. And for 2 years running a business with a print magazine, 20,000 is probably really cheap, because I made it work and I utilized my resources to the max and I did the work. Anyway, I'll stop rambling on that because we only have a few minutes anyway, but go ahead.
No, well, any of you watching, I'll just be the brave one. None of you are required to do this, but question for you, Ed.
Yeah.
How does $86,000 in student loan debt make you feel?
Yeah. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, and you guys, that's what I mean. It's like, again, it's that number that it's like, when only thing I can relate to is, which I haven't made this. I don't think I've made this before at a 9 to 5, but the only thing I can relate that number to is that's how much a full-time employee would make at a corporation, right? So like, to me, that's an income number for a whole entire year for somebody at a corporation versus that's debt. Oh crap. Like, how on earth does that happen? Like, how do you work with that? Like, how are you able to live your life? You know what I mean? So it's like, it's very hard for me to understand money that way because I like to make sure that I try to plan as much as possible, which obviously we know things happen and all of that. So yeah, it's hard.
Well, and I think along with that, what you said is exactly right. And that's part of where the empowerment came from. So if you have debt, here's what I'll say to you.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not going to let people stop me from feeling comfortable about the amount I want to make. It's exactly what you said. I have $86,000 in student loan debt. With my husband, it's like a little bit more than that. Sure. Now, what that means, because I'm just transparent, I don't know why we're going down this path, but I think it's beneficial. People are commenting.
Yeah.
It's almost $100,000 in debt, which is over almost $1,000 a month in student loan payments. So you're exactly right that when you have that debt, it does keep you from doing other things. If we had an extra $1,000 a month, we'd own a house. If we had a house, we'd have kids right now, but so the point is, I don't want to be a slave to the lender anymore. I want my business to be successful because I want that paid off and I want that freedom. And your viewers were mentioning it, to go and have that freedom to serve, to do more good. And it is what it is. I mean, I'm responsible. I didn't understand how much $86,000 was when I was 18.
Right.
But, I'm being responsible and paying it off. But if I want to make $100,000 in a year so I can pay off a huge portion of it quicker than the next 20 years of my life, and if you don't like that, then I don't care.
Right.
Like, I don't want this debt anymore. I want to live and I want to move forward. And so I think the more that we can be comfortable with who we are and understand our worth, that debt doesn't define you anymore.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be so life-sucking. And besides the debt part alone, just loving yourself well is like so cheesy that I'm even going to say this. It's priceless.
Yeah. It's true. And, you guys, we have just a couple minutes left, but it's so true. And that's the thing about all of this really is, and I know that's why a lot of you tune in every day and show up to learn and to grow and to share what you know. And, we're obviously, if we make money, great, but we're in it to feel good. We're in it to connect with people and to build our community for our own audience, our own tribes. And so you have to remember that that's all of our intent, right? If we make money and we obviously want to pay the bills, but if we make a ton of money, awesome. Like that's great that comes with it, but that's not our like main goal. Our main goal is to have freedom and to enjoy. Arlene was on the show a couple times, once this weekend, back on episode 24, I think it was. Today she just made a big announcement. You should go check out her page if you haven't. I'm not going to spoil it, but go check out her page. And she actually talks about that too. And I was able to tune in for a few seconds to listen to that part. And I was like, yes. And so definitely check out her page for that part too. Any last remarks there, Jess, before I have you pop over into the comments later and say hi to people?
Yeah, no worries. Again, just thank you for being here. And I know a lot of your people are in conversation, really excited about some things. And I just wanted to invite you really quickly next week, Monday through Friday, 12 to 12:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. I actually live in Minnesota, so Ed and I are close, but really far away. So 12 to 12:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm just going to actually be running a really simple challenge. Is called the Trigger Challenge. Every day of the week, I'm just going to teach you a different trigger you can set up in your life to be reminded of how incredible you are and who you are every day of the week. It goes into the whole I am theme and just helping people embrace who they really are. So if you want more information on that, I will just post the link, right? Is that what we're doing?
Yep.
Something like that?
In
Okay.
the comments. Yeah, Jess will pop that stuff into the comments for you guys.
Yep.
And perfect. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Jess. And I know we'll have you back soon. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Yes, it was an honor. Thank you all. Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. So how awesome was that? Totally true and transparent and open on a Friday. I'm so pumped. I hope that you guys have a great weekend and that you enjoy the rest of your evening. I still have more calls to get on to, but I'm going to leave you with this, and we will see you back here on Monday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. In the meantime, have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care. This episode is sponsored by Stupid Easy. Easily create, share, and sell your online courses. Discover more at stupideasy.com.